How you going? I'm Dylan and this is No More Excuses. Today we're talking about calories. In this video we'll be covering what calories are, what they do, how do you measure them and why they're important. So stick around and you're going to learn something. So, what are calories? It's quite simple actually. Calories are a unit of measurement that determines how much energy is inside food, and it's also how much energy that your body is going to obtain from consuming it. Like Celsius and Fahrenheit, calories and kilojoules are two measurements of the same thing. For every 1 calorie, you're going to have 4.184 kilojoules. But to dumb it down, it's just easy to remember that 1 calorie is roughly 4 kilojoules. So if you've got 4,000 kilojoules in food or whatever it is you're consuming, you're going to have about 1,000 calories. Why should we pay attention to them? Even when we aren't doing anything and our body is at complete rest, we are still consuming energy in order for our heart to function, our lungs, kidneys and livers, breathing, all of those functions still require energy to perform. All of the basic functions that our body needs to survive and maintain itself can be clumped together under one title called the basal metabolic rate. This is essentially how much energy your body needs just to maintain the status quo. In some countries, this is also known as the resting metabolic rate, and like the temperature in Fahrenheit, calories and kilojoules, these are both two terms for the exact same thing. So, what do calories have to do with weight loss? Well, to put it simply, body fat is stored calories, or more specifically, stored energy that your body hasn't consumed and is keeping in reserve. The more calories that you consume that you do not expel through normal, everyday activity or through dedicated activities, your body is going to store this as fat. Excessive fat can cause a number of health problems, things like heart disease, kidney failure, liver failure, strokes, cancer, type 2 diabetes, even issues with pregnancy. There's a myriad of health problems that can be attributed to excessive fat stores in the body. So, what is the best way to remove all of this excess fat? Over the years, there have been numerous products and medications that have claimed to strip all of that unwanted body fat from your body. But for the most part, it's all a load of bullshit. There's only one true way to remove all of that extra body fat, and that is to put your body into a caloric deficit. This essentially means that you're consuming less calories than you're expelling in your everyday life and activities. Whether it's by reducing the amount of the food or the types of foods that you're eating, or increasing the amount of exercise, working out, and physical activity in general that you're performing, as long as your body is in a caloric deficit, your body will then be forced to burn away your excess fat as energy to fuel your body. It'll be important to note that you'll have to keep up your protein levels in order to maintain your lean muscle mass. I'll be touching into this in a later video some point in the future, so please be sure to like and subscribe and hit the little bell in the notifications area somewhere there so you can keep up to date with all the videos that we're posting, and we truly appreciate it. So, how do we calculate calories? Firstly, it's important to understand how we actually lose weight. As fat is converted in the body to be used as energy, the byproduct is generally water and CO2. The third factor is the amount of body heat that our body generates. Heat on its own is a form of energy. As energy cannot be created or destroyed, but is converted only from one form to another or multiple others, there's a direct correlation between the amount of energy that we burn and the amount of heat that is outputted from our bodies. The most accurate way to measure your BMR is through a process called calorimetry. This process requires the individual to lay down in a reclined position in a sealed, controlled chamber for a period of 8 to 12 hours, where the amount of body heat expelled from their body is measured at complete rest. There are two main problems with calorimetry. The first one being is that it is very time inefficient. The second, it's bloody expensive. And not all of us have thousands of dollars to spend on tests just to work out our basal metabolic rate. So over the years, a few calculations have been devised which are able to almost accurately determine how many calories your body is consuming. There are 3 recognized measurements. In 1914, the Harris-Benedict formula was devised to determine your BMR. This was later revised in 1984 just to make it a little bit more accurate. However, in 1990, Mifflin-St. George's calculation was determined to be more accurate and is the one that is more widely used by health professionals. There is a third method as well, the Katz-McArdle formula, but this one requires you to know your body fat percentage as well. If you do have those numbers on hand, this is the most accurate form of measurement for your basal metabolic rate. Personally, I like to use all three measurements. Then what I do is I combine them all together and take an average. If you don't know your body fat percentage, just simply ignore the third one, add the first two together, and then take an average between them. So simply enter your age, gender, height, weight, and select BMR under activity and calculate. So in my case, I've had to write these down because I can't remember them off the top of my head. So for my BMR, my results are as follows. The Harris-Benedict method gave me 2,060 calories. The Mifflin-St. Jean method gave me 2,255 calories. And the final method, the Katz-McArdle method, gave me, 1,882 calories. So adding all of those together for me and dividing them by 3, I'm left with 2,066 calories that my body needs just to perform its basic functions at rest every single day. Now that you know your BMR, the next thing we need to determine is how much exercise you need to perform every single day in order to lose weight efficiently. Now, it's obvious that the more you exercise, the more weight you're going to lose. But for people who have children, people going to work, people who have other activities that severely limit their time, this is a very good way to know how much exercise you can perform to lose weight and, if needed, to adjust your diet to allow yourself to be in a caloric deficit. So, how do we determine what exactly is moderate exercise? Moderate exercise is considered to be a 50 to 60% elevation of your heart rate for about half an hour. Intense exercise, about a 70 to 80% increase for the same amount of time, or the 50 to 60% for about an hour to an hour and a half, depending on your fitness levels. That being said, the longer that you maintain an elevated heart rate, the more energy that your body is going to consume in order to function. Cardio-intensive activities are a great way to increase your heart rate. Things like swimming, running, jogging, or playing sports will all contribute to an elevated heart rate. That being said, general everyday activities are still useful. Things like gardening, cleaning, anything that increases your heart rate is going to work towards your body expelling all of that extra energy. So go back onto the calculator, re-enter your details, but under activity, select the amount of exercise that you believe that you do on a weekly basis. Then simply hit calculate and your numbers will be presented to you pretty much instantly. The numbers presented are vague estimates based on the averages of the entire population. You have to remember, as we are all different, our bodies are going to consume and convert energy differently. Some people are more efficient than others at doing it. It's just a fact of life. So use this just as a rough guide just to work out where you're at. Sometimes an exact science is not always an exact science, but hopefully you've learned something along the way today and you can use that towards your own weight loss goals in the future. If you have any questions, comments or suggestions, please leave them in the comments below. We'll endeavour to get back to you as quickly as we can. And finally, again, I'll ask you to like and subscribe to this video. We will really appreciate it if you do. Thank you very much. See you next time.